Look, if we being honest, there's no Jake Paul or Logan Paul without Kimbo Slice. Before the Paul brothers were knocking out little YouTubers, before they were able to work their way up to fighting people like real fighters like Floyd Mayweather, it was Kimbo Slice running the internet years before that. Knocking out street dudes, bare knuckles. If you was born in the 90s, if you are in the 30 and up club today, Kimbo Slice was definitely somebody you was watching a lot and you heard a lot about online. But I don't know about y'all. I don't remember the rise being the way the Paul brothers are. And why? It's quick to think black and white, but I don't think it was that. I don't really think it was that. That's the easy way. That's the easy answer. But I think it's a little bit more complicated. I think this is more about, obviously this isn't about who's the better fighters or anything like that. I know weight classes matter when it comes to fighting, but the Paul brothers ain't gonna want to put they would never want to jump in a ring with Kimbo Slice. That wouldn't even be fair. But this is about skill out of the ring. If you look at the Paul brothers and how they started, they were content creators. If you look at Kimbo Slice and how he started, he was a fighter. He was really trying to be a professional fighter who just happened to use the internet in a way to show that he was street fighting, because he knew that's your resume to get into the MMA and the boxing and all that. And he eventually did it. And I'm pretty sure he went undefeated, 5-6-0, something like that when it comes to MMA. So he was a success. But when you look at their net worths online, for some reason, you see 500,000 consistently with Kimbo Slice. Doesn't mean he made that shirt. Maybe he made 5 million, but it definitely wasn't what you see the Paul brothers. You see 50 million, 20 million, 50 million, 80 million. I think I saw 300 million somewhere. You see a ton of money being made from the Paul brothers. And you got to ask yourself, if Kimbo Slice was white with blonde hair, would he have made that kind of money? Would he have made that kind of money? His marketing just wasn't there. If you look at the Paul brothers, again, content marketing, they were using social media to grow an audience online. And then they maximized it. And then they leveraged that audience and turned it into, oh, what do people like to see? Who doesn't like to see fights? Who wouldn't want to see a random person fighting somebody who's popular on YouTube? Who wouldn't want to see that? Social media and the internet, the world kind of is built on hate. So of course you would want to see something like that. Just like you would pay to see somebody run it up on Kimbo Slice house and some random YouTuber wanting to fight Kimbo Slice. But Kimbo Slice and his team didn't think like that. They only thought about, I need to fight. I want to be a professional. I just got to fight. They weren't even focused on other ways to be able to leverage the popularity that they were getting off of him fighting. Because remember, Kimbo Slice was all over the internet, especially when it came to YouTube. Sad to say, I don't think Kimbo Slice even has a YouTube page right now. So nobody's really making money off of all that he did from what I know. You may find something different, let us know. But who's making money off the Kimbo Slice fame, quote unquote, when he really did have something to be famous about and make money on, even till today, because you know how YouTube works. They pay based on views. It doesn't matter if you created that video 30 years ago. It doesn't matter if you just got the 20 million views this year after having 0 views 19 years before that. It's all about views and viewership. So it is kind of sad in a way, but it tells you that the Paul brothers, when it comes to their marketing, they're genius. You can hate on them, even though you're only hating because they're making money doing something that you wish they were doing. Like, I wish I can do what they were doing, but I never was going to be streaming 9 years ago my entirely and making up crazy videos like that and bothering people. That's just not me. That's not my personality. It's probably not yours. It's not a whole lot of people's personalities, but we know a lot of people are using this method. So it's only going to tell who else is going to try to use their YouTube momentum to start fighting people. What's going to be the next big thing? If you actually watched another episode, you see Drewski has been going on about a 5-year run. He's still in his peak, still peaking, and he's still rising. I mean, and now he just did Could Have Been House and how that's blowing up. I actually just did a video on the contestants of that. I mean, this internet thing is kind of crazy, but it's just funny how you can see how the years pass and how people think, how people are learning how to leverage this. Maybe the Paul brothers didn't know Kimbo Slice. I doubt I think they did, but if they were smart, you learn from the older generation. I'm sure they learned how to make money online compared to people back then who didn't know how to make money online. YouTube was around and you could make money online back then if you were Kimbo Slice. They just didn't have that marketing genius. All right, so it's not a race thing. You know, it's not a race thing. It could be some issues there. Maybe there's some stories that we don't know about. I'm sure he dealt with certain things, but this isn't really a race thing. I think this is more of a situation where marketing does matter. You can have a really good product or a really good service, but if you don't market it the right way, you're never going to get its full potential. You're never going to get its full potential. Kimbo Slice was literally fighting bare knuckles on the street, raising millions and millions of views. And we can see his net worth was nowhere near the Paul brothers. They eaten twice. I think Ryan Garcia or one of these popular fighters, didn't they just call out one of the Paul brothers? You think they're doing that for no reason? They're not doing that just to be able to beat him. They're doing that because that's a bigger pay probably than what they're going to do fighting a regular person in their skill level. It's probably to the point where if you're a Paul brother, if I don't feel like I can win, I probably don't even need to take that fight because I have money. Financially, you're good. Didn't he make like millions of dollars just fighting a random YouTuber? I mean, there's professional fighters not making $1 million in a fight. Marketing matters. It really, really matters. You may have something great, but you may not be able to maximize that. Nobody here, who can say that Kimbo Slice didn't have a successful, when it comes to his fighting? He was very successful. But I'm sure he would have definitely, him and his family would have loved to have that Paul brother money. I'm pretty sure he would have loved to have that Paul brother money. So when it comes to Kimbo Slice and the Paul brothers, look, the Paul brothers are gonna keep making money. They're gonna keep making money. And I think people should just take notes on how they're doing it. And you know what? People are. They are. That's one thing you can tell. People are definitely learning how to do this thing online to where you don't hustle the way Kimbo Slice was hustling without having that mindset of how you're going to maximize online. I see a lot of people trying to figure that out early. They don't even have the views, but they doing the little things to make sure they're already thinking about the next step. And that's how you got to think in this game.